Okay, so what is your name, your age, and your hometown?
My name is Cynthia Liu. I am 20 years old and I'm from Vernon Hills, Illinois.
Tell us about this polling place. Did you just go up and vote?
Yeah, I just went up to register actually. I haven't voted yet though.
Why?
Because I live off campus, and on campus is basically there's specific sections for voting places, and I came to Memorial Union just to kind of register with the school, and so now I have to go back to where my apartment is and go to a building near there to vote.
Did you know about like having to go back to the polling place near where you lived beforehand?
I didn't, mostly because I thought it would be a bigger area that we would cover for voting places. So I thought like Palisades is pretty close to where campus is, and so I was like, oh, Memorial Union's like the closest part, or like maybe the SAC, and so it's like, yeah.
So other than this, since you're from Vernon Hills, like your permanent address is in Chicago area, did you have any problems regarding like having to re-register to be able to vote in Madison, Wisconsin?
Yeah, I did actually. I had already registered in Chicago, like in Illinois, but I was convinced by my peers that I needed to vote in Wisconsin and not Illinois, so I had to basically re-register today. I was really ready to send in my absentee ballot a few days ago, but here I am.
Why do you think it's more important to vote in Wisconsin?
Well, in Wisconsin, it's always been kind of it's been now a swing state, and so the fight between like the three main candidates is pretty heated right now in Wisconsin, and in Illinois it just isn't that way. Illinois has always been a blue state, and as a Democrat, that gives me less incentive to vote there, although that's a terrible like notion in the sense that that's kind of why our presidency is the way it is right now, but I think having more voices in a place where it's more more split and diverse in ideas. I think it's better to like really express yours and affirm that here.
As an out-of-state student, do you think your voting rights are or can be potentially suppressed because of the strict Wisconsin vote ID bill here?
I think sometimes maybe. But I think in terms of comparisons between Wisconsin's like voting ID and it's still better than a lot of other states. Like you can still do like online registrations, the same day voting. That only happens in I think 20 some states, maybe around 20 some states. And so that's a lot better than a lot of other states where it's very strict. There's like no online registration. You have to like show up at a specific hour with multiple forms of ID. And so I think it has become harder in Wisconsin, for sure. And that's definitely going to affect, I think, low income and stuff. But like for my demographic, it's not as terrible. And uw-madison specifically, because college students is kind of hard sometimes. uw-madison does a good job of making sure the information is available and the ability to vote is available. So, yeah.
So, like a lot of, college students or like students of color have like the lower turnout rate in the country. What are your thoughts on that?
I think college students, a lot of them don't think that they know enough to be able to vote. A lot of people aren't, well, I wouldn't even, a lot of people are not as informed, or they feel that they're not informed. And so students are kind of discouraged away from voting. And then as well as you're a college student who might be away from your hometown, and absentee ballot voting is sometimes kind of confusing. And just because I'm a marketing major, I know that if there are more steps towards taking a specific choice, people aren't going to do that. And so as college students, there are so many other steps that we have to take to be able to vote. And so trying to figure out how to get the information, trying to figure out, okay, how does the information apply to me, and then going to that location, registering, and if you're out of state, trying to figure out absentee ballot and everything, it becomes kind of difficult. And so I think in that sense, college students, like almost like as consumers, and if voting was the product, then it's hard for them to really buy that product. And so I think college students should turn out more. They shouldn't feel that their opinion isn't worth it, or that maybe it's a sense that they don't really have an opinion. I think everyone should, like, as a citizen, look into like the information, the websites are out there. I know a lot of students now, after the 2016 election, have access to so much more information because their peers are very driven too. So I'm hoping that turnout rate is a lot higher this year.